23rd of January, Rabbi Furst, Pierke Avos. Shalom Aleichem, Rabbi Amori.
Good morning, Ruben. Thank you very much. And good morning, Elizabeth. Shavua Tov. Good luck to everyone. Okay. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. Here in Shlomo here with Zoom. This is our first Rabbi Avos in the third parak, the Maimer of Rabbi Akiva. We'll be taking a look at it momentarily. I'm going to put the screen share on. You'll be able to have it on your screen as well. In the middle of our learning of this. Good morning, Barry. Very good. So you have if you're looking at your document, the ones on the screen, or if you have it in front of you in hard copy, you have the Maimer of Rabbi Akiva, the first paragraph on the top of the document. Rabbi Akiva Omer, Rabbi Akiva taught us, he said, Schoik v'kalasos margila, a person who is involved with schok and kalasos, levity and frivolity, he's accustomed to lewdness. The second statement is the Masoras is Sayeg L'Torah. Actually, tell you the truth, someone was just mentioning to me that the Rabbi Miller came out this past week. Rabbi Miller, he speaks quite highly about this point about Sayeg L'Torah. That if you have a chance to look at it, you can find it online if necessary. Sometimes you get hard copies. He speaks quite extensively about the need for the Shabbat Peh to be the not simply the complement, but the actual completion of the Torah Shebiksav, and that relates to this past week's parsha when Yisro recommended that Moshe Rabbeinu delegate his authorities in deciding certain questions. People would come to him and ask him about Kadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah. So I'm going to take a look there. You'll see how Rabbi Miller explains the depth of what Moshe Rabbeinu answered Yisro in his reply to Yisro's original questions. And what are these people standing around all day and all night? What are you doing with them here? So, answered. And that brings us to the next statement of Kiva Meister Society Elisha. That Taifi is a fence for Oisha, which is we're in the middle of that now. And if we'll begin, I think it's worthwhile backing up to where you see the paragraph beginning with the Panei Shlomo, Mesechus Avos. We've done the first paragraph and a half to get a, for instance, last week already, maybe it's worthwhile his comments on this statement that Ma'asros are Sayeg L'Torah. Who would like to begin to read? Any volunteers this morning?
I'll volunteer, but I missed exactly where we're on the Rashash or
the one after that, below that is Panei Shlomo.
Panei Shlomo. I have Derech Chaim.
No, I don't think so. It should be
Thank you.
right after the Rashash, right? You have the next paragraph after that. What do you have there?
Right after the Rashash, I have Derech Chaim.
Really interesting.
Am I missing something? Let's see.
Let's see. Let's see. The first paragraph is maybe that could that have possibly been the first one we did? I think that was the first one we did. All right. Let's see. What does your Rashash say? Let's read the Rashash. Let's see if we remember.
Rashash says Masoras Siag L'Torah. Am I in the wrong page?
Yeah, you're okay.
Well, Masoras.
What's the next line you got, Lou?
Nira Lee Lefaresh.
No, it should be the other document because we moved. That was, I think, a previous document.
Okay, I'm in the wrong document. Okay, let's see here. Rashash Pnei Shlomo. Here it is. I got
There
it.
you go. That's the one.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's
No problem.
no.
Perush Harambam,
Not Harav Bartanura. That's the Rav Bartanura.
Harav Bartanura, Ma'a Saros Siag Laosher. Tithes are a fence for wealth. Osher, I'm sorry, Aser Ta'aser, you shall surely tithe. Aser Bishvil Shetit Asher, tithe in order that you will be wealthy.
Right. So that's as the Rav Bartanura brought that. That's a Gemara. That's Gemara in Tainus that we quoted previously 2 paragraphs above this. And in fact, that is the Gemara, and that's what the Gemara darshans out from the pasuk Asher Tasaser. However, and it says V'chein Pirush Rashi, and likewise Rashi also in his explanation of the Mishnayos here, Rabbi Akiva's statement in Pierke Avos, Rashi also explains similarly to the Rav Bartanura that that's the pshat in what means aser tis aser, that you shall tithe in order to get rich. That's what it means when it says in the Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva's statement that Maisus Rasai Glator, V'kein Perish Rashi. Let's continue on. V'hari Derek. Now the Pnei Shlomo raises an objection to this.
Okay, Hare Derech Hasiag Hu La'asoso Kidei Lishmor Ma She Batocho. So behold, or according to the way of a fence, it guards that which is, I'm sorry, that it, what it does is that in order to guard what is within it.
I mean, the derech, the design of a fence is made in order to protect what's within it.
Right. Ve'im kain yoser haya roy lefaresh ma'asaros siag laosher, and therefore it's more appropriate to explain that the tithes are a fence for wealth, al p.
Yes, al p, correct.
Al p, in accordance with ha de darshinan, that which we derive in brachos.
So 1 minute. So let's just the objection that the Pnei Shlomo is making to the explanation of Rashi and the Rav Bartanura is as follows: that when Rashi and the Rav Bartanura said that the pshat in Maisus Osayeg to Osher is that the fence that you make by giving them maestris is going to cause a person to become rich. Okay. The objection to that is a fence usually is not causing something to happen. Fences don't cause something to happen. Fences usually are simply guarding what exists previously, but fences don't cause something to happen. So it's very difficult in the way that the Pnei Shlomo understands, and this was actually the way the Rishash also was bothered by this, the Rav Bartanura and Rashi, that they're explaining that the fence is causing something to happen, which is not usually the case, right? That fences, as I said, and as they say, fences guard something which is previously existing, and they simply protect it from outside damage. Right, so that's why he's raising an objection to the way that the Rab Bartanura and Rashi explained it. And it's going to be an alternative explanation based on the Gemara in Brachos.
But I just wanted to ask something. If what you're protecting inside of your fence is a garden, so it is going to grow. In other words, if you have riches, your riches will you use your riches to increase your riches. So if you have, so if you have a garden and you're planting seeds, it's going to grow, and your garden and your fence is protecting your growth. So your riches is not static. It's not carved in stone. Your riches are an active situation. If you have invested,
This is something that we're gonna see an explanation along these lines later on. Bez Hashem, very good, Barry. That's a very good understanding of what might be going on here. The explanation that Barry's giving is going to be borne out in another paragraph or two. We'll see that. Bez Hashem. Hold on. We'll see how well Barry's explanation matches with the explanation going to be given soon. Hold on. Very good, Barry. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so we learn from Brachos, the pasuk ve'ish es kadsho lo yiyu mi she ma'akav. Okay, so we learn from a pasuk, a man it is holy to him.
Yeah, a man that which is holy to him, right? This is referring to his maestros, his obligation to give maestros.
It should be he who withholds it.
No, so from therefore we learn a person who's going to withhold giving his maestros.
If he withholds that which is holy to him, his tithe, the eno noter lo,
Notain.
the eno notain lo, and he doesn't give it to him.
Meaning it's considered that which a person has, that which is kodesh. Meaning since it's kodesh, it has to go to the kohen. The tithes have to go to the kohen. So therefore, it's not really considered to be his, but it's something which is his that he should have to give to the kohen. And if the person's not going to give to the kohen, right, he's not going to do that what he's obligated to do. If he's not going to give it to him to the kohen.
So lo in this case is to the kohen.
Yes.
Yi'u ha ma'aseros. It will be that his tithe, sof, ultimately she'ein sadehu.
Right. Very good.
It will not be that his field, oseh, will produce.
Right.
Allah echad ma'asra, except for one tithe. Shehaisa limodeh la'asos, that it is capable of making.
I mean, it's only going to give 1/10 of what's really truly capable of producing. So if a person's not going to give the 10th that he's supposed to give to the kohen, then it's going to turn out that even the field itself won't be able to produce properly and only will produce 1/10 of what it actually was capable originally of producing. Okay, now that's the basis of the beginning of his explanation. Now he explains further in the continuation of the next paragraph.
V'afal pi.
Alpizet, according to this.
Al Pizeh, according to this, Shapir Shayich Masros Siag Osher. It is proper and relevant that his tithe is a fence around his wealth.
So according to this, you can understand how the maestros are assigned to his wealth. Because the fields, for example, and actually Tosfos, if I'm not mistaken, brings down, cites this in the Medrash that Tosfos explains based on that Gemara, then Tainus, that if a person had a field that was capable of producing 1,000 bushels of grain, and so then by giving the tenth to the Kohen, that's going to preserve the ability of that field to continue to produce that amount. And if he doesn't give the maestros, he doesn't give the tithes to the Kohen, it's going to lose that ability to produce what it's capable of producing. So in that way, you can understand that it's a protection for having the field lose its capability of producing what it's actually naturally able to produce.
So in the subsequent year, he becomes wealthy because the 1,000 bushels are now increasing his wealth.
Yeah, what happens is by giving the tenth, the field now continues to produce what it's able to produce, right? So by giving the maestros, you're protecting the field's ability to produce what it naturally can produce, and that'll give him wealth for the coming year. It's not the wealth that he has previously, but it's going to be protecting his wealth for the coming year.
Not just protecting it, but making him more wealthy.
In a certain way of looking at it, yeah, that it'll because since the field is only in potential capable of producing it, so giving the tithes actually realizes and brings into actuality the production of the field's capabilities.
Dehayinu she'im hu ashir v'rotzeh l'shamru shelo yovad ya'aseh lo. So
that's a couple of words. Yasa lo saig b'maestros.
Lo saig b'masros. Okay, so that it is that if he is wealthy and he wants to guard and not to lose his wealth to him, it is a fence.
Yasalo, he should make a stag, he should make a fence, a protection.
With his tithe.
Right. Like by tithing, that will be a protection for the wealth that he has.
So it would seem that the mashal that Barry raised of the garden would fit here if you consider that the fence around the garden is keeping out the rabbits, so that if there was no fence, the rabbits come in and they eat most of your produce, and you end up with a much smaller produce.
Right.
So therefore it's protecting the garden and allowing it to produce the same amount each year.
Correct. That's right. He's going at the end of this paragraph. He's going to discuss this concept of the garden. let's see how he brings it in his own words. But that's where it's leading to. Correct.
Im lo yitain masaros ya'aved ha'osher. And if he does not give Meiser, he will lose his wealth. Okay, so that does not fit, I think, into what we said so far, because he if he's got $1 million in the bank, so that $1 million is still there. What he's lost is the next million, but not the first million.
Oh, well, again, so I'm not sure if we're talking about actual financial savings at this point. It may be basically referring to agricultural wealth. We'll have to see how that relates to the to financial wealth. Hold on, we'll see.
V'hashavti ki
Ashafti, right? Ashafti.
What is this abbreviation? Pei ayin dalid.
Shafti, the key, the parish, the parish Anias Daiti, Yofadaik, Mechashafti key, the parish Anias Daiti, he thought that the explanation, in his own humble opinion, is very well based in dictum.
Okay. Yafed Daich is well based in diktuk.
Yes.
Okay, and what is hashafti?
Hashafti, I thought about it. From the word makshava.
Okay, so and I think that this explanation is in accordance with the diktuk. Vehu al pi ma she raisi. What is bet samech?
B'sefer echad, b'sefer in a certain sefer.
In a certain sefer. Okay, so that it is in accordance with what we see in a certain sefer. Shekasav ha dibechulahu omer techila es hadivarim shehu sayag.
So for saying he saw this in a certain sefer, he forgot the name of the sefer. Because of in this one particular sefer, it was written in all the things that are mentioned. If you look at the list of Rabbi Akiva, all the things that are listed, right? What comes first, right? The thing which is thing which is used as the fence, as you'll explain.
But all the things that are discussed in the book, the first thing it mentions is the fence.
Well, this particular sefer mentioned this point, that if you look at all the statement of Rabbi Akiva, look at the statement of Rabbi Akiva, you get to the top of the page, right? If you look there, right, you'll notice that it says Maestros are aside the Torah. And the Masoros comes first. Then what it's a fence around. Then Maestros is aside Loisha. And then the Darim was aside Le Precious. And then then it changes, Saig L'Chochmeh Shtika. It changes the last fourth thing. It's changed. The format is changed.
I remember that. I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
He's going to make a comment about this lady, the change in format.
Ah, okay. Mesoros Saig the Torah. So the tradition is a fence for the Torah. V'chein bekulahu, and similarly with all of them, uvish tika omer techila tivas saig. What is shtika?
Shtika is silence. That's the last. That's where Pierke mentions last there. Shtika is a fence for, right?
Okay, and what is the word tivas? Rabbi,
Yes,
what's the word tivas?
I didn't hear you. You're breaking up at it. I didn't hear you.
Tivas
Tavas is the word. Tava is a word.
is a word. Okay, so silence is a fence around words.
No, the word. Again, in all cases, it always mentioned what the fence is. Maestris is the fence for wealth. Masura is the fence for Torah, right? Nidarim is a fence, but when it came to Shtika, it didn't say it changed. The Shtika Omer Tehila Tevas Saig. It said Saig, right? L'Chochmeh is Shtika. It reversed it. So he's pointing out that there was a reversal. You see the reversal in the format?
Ah, I see. He's saying that the first word is sayag in that sequence.
Yes, that
I got you. V'hayinu mishum de asais ha geder hu bishnei panim. And it is because that it makes a fence in two ways.
I think that what he means to say here is the Hainu Mishum Dasi is a getter b'shnei upon him. There in making a fence, it involves two acts, two aspects. Right? Making a fence involves two aspects.
Okay. So because of that fact, lepa'amim mi sheyesh lo derech Michel gan. Oh, here's the gan. Okay. So
Yeah, that's right.
sometimes one for whom there is to him the way of a garden. What is netoa?
That it's planted. Mushalite says mushal. It's an analogy to a gan nator, that a garden was planted, right?
Right. Okay. Umatira
He's fearful. And the word fear, he's fearful.
And he's fearful. Pen yiganvu, less that it will be stolen. Ma she bitocho, that which is in it. Oset lo, he makes for himself geder, a fence, the shmira, to guard it.
So one aspect of making a fence is when you're fearful that something that's in the fenced area will be stolen or perhaps even damaged. So in order to protect it from that fear, you will construct a fence.
Aval lepamim hu makdim asais. But sometimes, what's makdim?
Sometimes you precede the asiyas a getter. Sometimes you make the getter first. Once you put the fence up first.
And what is a sais?
Asiyas you make the getter. Mukta.
Sometimes you see to make the getter, the fence, the hayinu ke she'ula, that it is, what is kishe'ula?
It's going to ola bedaito. It's ola bedaito. It literally, it goes from the word aliyah. It literally goes up into his mind. He considers or he thinks the following.
Oh, it goes up to his mind. La'atos b'makom, to make in a place echad, in one place, God.
No, that's a gun.
A gun. To make in one place a garden, a netuah, to plant oseh, techila, to plant in it first, a getter, to make first a fence,
Right.
and afterwards nota bisocho, to put into it.
Right. So there's no general rule. Sometimes the person will plant the garden, and then he'll want the garden to be protected, and then he'll put the fence around the garden. The times he'll put the fence up first, and then plant the garden. Why people do different things, different times, I'm not sure, but there must be good reasons why they do it. So,
Okay.
so with that, he's going to explain the format of the statement of Rabbi Akiva, and why is some reversed and some not.
Ulechein bishlosha harishonim tov la'asos es hageder techila, and therefore in three, in the first three, it's good to make the getter first. Ulechein amar misoros siag latorah, and therefore it says the tradition is a fence around the Torah, v'kulei, etc. Aval b'shtika, but with silence, lo shayich, it's not appropriate, lomar, to say she'im rotzeh le his chacham yargil. It's not appropriate to say that if you want to be wise, you should accustom yourself. What is ayin? What is aleph ayin?
As atzmo, he should accustom himself as atzmo, himself b'shtika. He should accustom himself to be quiet.
Himself. B'shtika, to be quiet.
Like that wouldn't be.
It's not appropriate to say to somebody, if you want to be wise, you should be quiet.
Right.
Eliezer, can I mute you? Thank you. Sorry about that. I hope you feel better. It's not appropriate to say that he should accustom himself to being quiet. Ki b'shtikaso lo yilmod chacham, because in being quiet, he won't learn wisdom.
Right. The part of becoming wise is you have to have discussions, right? A person's going to sit and ponder things in his mind, and he's not going to discuss his ideas with other people. He'll never have the necessary interaction, which is going to be productive for him becoming wise, right? He's only wise in his own eyes, but he's not wise in the eyes of other people because he's never discussed his thoughts with people. So you can't say that being quiet is going to be a sayag, a protection for wisdom, because you'll never acquire the wisdom if a person remains quiet. So how does it work? So therefore, right, sayag, the chachma, you have to say the sayag for chachma, the fence for chachma, meaning once a person is wise, the way to preserve his wisdom is to be quiet, which that we have to understand how that works. That we're not enough time to discuss today. We'll get to that eventually. But according to Rabbi Akiva, the way to preserve a person's wisdom is by being quiet. And then we'll have to discuss that.
The other Rabbah tzarich hu lishol b'sorah. On the contrary, he needs to ask in the Torah, kol davar hakasha, all the difficult things, lo, for him, everything that's difficult for him, he needs to ask. V'kavar amru lo havi yashan.
Abayashan is one who's embarrassed. He's shy. A person who's shy can't learn.
Okay. And already they say that a person who is easily embarrassed. I'm sorry. They say a person who's easily embarrassed cannot learn.
You know, he's going to be too shy to ask his questions, so he won't be able to learn properly.
Right. Ulechein amar siag lechachma shtika. And therefore it says a fence for wisdom is silence.
Right. So therefore it reversed the order. The format is reversed here.
Dehayinu kishehu chacham tov lo. That it is that when he is wise, it's good for him, lishmor, to guard chachamaso, his wisdom, vayaseh la siag, and to make for it a fence, b'shtika, with silence, shelo yirva devarim, that he should not. There should not be many words.
You should not yarb devarim. You should not have exactly many words. You shouldn't shouldn't talk too much. The
Very interesting.
initially there's a pasuk. I'm not quoting it exactly, but it says there that the Castile is known through his um, through his um, through his his great amount of speech, meaning the Castile is known through his marba b'dibar. A Castile, a fool, is known through the fact that he talks a lot, right? So, in fact, the more, if you ever have a discussion with somebody, right? One way of ensuring that you're going to win the discussion is let your person who's arguing with you talk a lot, because the more he talks, the more likely he's going to make a mistake sooner or later. And if he only says a few words, so you won't be able to criticize a few words, because he probably use his words. If he uses words sparingly, and he knows what he's saying, so usually those words are well chosen and are usually protected from questions or dictions. But if you let someone speak a lot, they'll usually say something which can open them up to criticism. So that's one way of winning an argument. Just let the other person talk a lot, and then you can just point out their mistakes, and people remember their mistakes rather than what they might have said. But that's the point over here, that if a person has already wisdom, the way to protect it, right? Right? He has chachma in order to, right? Kishu chacham, when a person is in fact a chacham, he's wise. In fact, the way to protect his wisdom is that he makes a defense through being quiet, meaning don't talk unnecessarily. Person, we'll get to this as we get further on with the mind movement, but this is simply the explanation of the different approach that the Pnei Pnei Shlomo made in terms of the Maestros Osher. And that's this last paragraph. Let's try and finish this last paragraph. I think we might have time for it today. Now he returns to the original question.
Ula pizeh.
Yes, and
According to this,
yes, look at this. Yes,
Yafa daiki lefarash masros saig la osher. According to this, it is beautiful to be daik to
I was daiki with the yud. The yud makes it that I was analytical. Daik means
analytical. Good word. According to this, it's good that I was analytical to explain that Meiser, that tithing is a fence around wealth. Meha de osher bishvil shetit asher. With what that he tithes in order to become wealthy. Shema tichla
at the beginning.
from the beginning. Yitain meiser, he gives a tithe, and afterwards, yavo lo haosher, it comes to him wealth. Okay, now that's interesting. That's different. So we haven't said that before. All we've said so far is that it won't reduce.
Right, very good.
V'gam Yehei Osher Shamor Leva'alav
The Baalav, to the one who owns it.
Le'ba'alav, the owner, Latova, for good. Doesn't mean look there. Ayin
Al Yaday, through
Al
the
Yaday.
mice. Through the
Al
mice.
Yaday, through Ha Masaros, through his miser. So let's go back. And also V'gam, and also it is that wealth guards the owner.
Right.
No, I'm sorry. Is it wealth or is it the tithe? Oser?
No, Osher, the guy, Osher, Shomer, his wealth will be, Shomer the Baalav, his wealth will be protected for the owner of it.
Protected for the owner for good through the tithing.
Right.
The im ho ilu lahasig osher, that if ho ilu is perhaps,
If it'll allow him, enable him. Ve'im ho'ilu lahasig osher, if it will enable him to achieve wealth.
to achieve wealth,
Mikol shekain, this is Mikol shekain, it's going to be even more so.
even more so, sheyo ilu lahatzilu ma'avdun. I don't know any of those words.
Right, even more so, Sheilo, it will enable him Latzilu to be saved Avdom from losses, Avdom from Avos, from losses. Meaning, if the maestros can allow a person, enable a person to get wealthy, it's certainly even more so can protect the person from having losses.
Aval mehach do ish es kishav lo hayu eno muchach ella she'im kavar yesh lo osher nishmar etzlo al yedei ha ma'asros. But what is this mehach?
From here.
Right. Avdom mehach divaish es kachu from that pasuk. He brought previously at the end of the paragraph, 2 paragraphs above, he brought this pasuk. Mehach from that verse. You read that ish es kachu via enu muchach. There's no proof from that pasuk. You can't bring a proof from that pasuk.
What's do ish?
That's part of the pasuk. The Daled Vav is that, and then the pasuk begins ve'ish es kadshav loy.
Oh, that's a quote. I see.
That's a quote, right?
Okay, so that from the verse ish es kodsho lo, it is that he is not.
Eno muchach. There's no proof. Eno muchach from that pasuk. There's no proof from that pasuk.
There's no proof. Ella she'im, that if already there is for him wealth, then it says by him. Then it's guarded. It's guarded by him through my.
Right, because that's all that Well, that pasuk proves if it has wealth, it'll be protected through the maestros.
So he proposed that it increases wealth and then proved that that's wrong?
Well, from that pasuk, you can't bring a proof from that pasuk. Conceptually, it might be correct, but you don't have a proof positive from that pasuk.
Okay, so what is what this idea of Meiser increasing wealth? What has he said about it?
So it's you can learn it from the way he's learning it. You can learn it from a kol v'kol, meaning if Mises will protect what you have, right? If no, excuse me, the other way around. If Mises will enable you to get rich, it'll certainly protect you from what you have. But he's learning it from the fact that it's even more so. It's a kol v'kol, kol shekain. It's not based on the pasuk. From the pasuk, you don't have necessarily a proof for that. That's all he's mentioning in this last line or two.
Okay, so
All right,
we
very
have
good.
not
Okay,
established that a fence increases wealth. We've only established that it protects it so far.
Excuse me, I didn't know you broke up a bit. I'm just say it again, please.
So we've not established that a fence increases wealth. We've only established that it protects it so far.
Right. But we'll have to see how the Gemara in Tainus is going to be relating to this. That I'll probably put a new document up later on today, and we'll go into this in more detail about the whole in terms of halacha, the whole status of giving maestros and whether it there's several opinions. We've discussed this before. It's worthwhile reviewing this, the different opinions about giving maestros, especially in our time, and especially in terms of financial, meaning non-agricultural maestros. So okay, we'll deal with that more tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay, I'm having a problem with my computer, so I'm going to need to reboot. So I'm sorry to tell you, I have to reboot. So everybody needs to reconnect. Give me about 5 minutes, and then please reconnect for the next year.
And we go to Rabbi Levitt with his
Okay.
his one.
I'm just talking about the next year with Rabbi Furst.
Right.
Rabbi Levitt will be normal. Should be normal.
Okay, thank you.
Roy, have a good afternoon. Hope to see everyone soon.
Thank you. You too. Be well. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay.